Hey, Kakara here, and Happy New Year's, guys! It is 2022. That is kind of wild, because I don't know about you guys, but I've been working on my New Year's resolution stuff, like planning and everything, um, since probably the beginning of December, and the entire time it's just been like, oh yeah, I'm gonna do this next year, or I'm gonna, plan this out next year. I'm gonna post every week or whatever next year, and next year is here. So it's a little like disorienting, to be honest, because I'm still planning, I'm still doing stuff. I'm assuming like the rest of this week, up until the 8th, is I'm just gonna be like prepping stuff for my New Year's like resolutions, essentially. I wanted to get it all done before like the 1st, obviously, and when I say I wanted to get it all done, I mean stuff like planning my social media plan for this year, and because I want to have a content library and actually like try to schedule my posts and stuff like that, to like promote my my like streams and my maybe promote leftovers a little bit too, even though I'm not going to be posting, but like promote, stuff surrounding leftovers. I kind of wanted to do like character bios, or like character spotlights, where I show like how the characters have grown over the years, like art wise. And I'm thinking about this all like through Instagram and like Facebook and maybe Twitter, but Twitter is a little harder to do because it's like you don't have multiple pictures you can upload. But I wanted to make a content library for that. I also am going to be starting commissions, like hardcore this year, because I am currently trying to save up to get a house. So I need to, by the end of this year, I have a certain amount that I want to save up. So I need to get back into commissions. And somebody just came in. The door slamming scared me a little bit. But yeah. Oh, okay. Also, I don't know when this is going to go up, but I am selling my book, 4 Years an Island Girl Again. And if you guys don't know what that is, you can find videos relating to it on my channel. But basically, it's an art book talking about the 4 years I spent working on the Duford arc of Leftovers, and just all the crazy life stuff that went on. And it's an art book / autobiography, because it has like concept art and stuff, but it also has a lot of anecdotes and a lot of like life things too. So I'm gonna be selling those. They're $25. I'll put the link in the description for people to fill out the form. But I'm going to be selling those until January 14th, Friday, January 14th, in which case orders will close because I have to order them myself and then ship them myself and everything. So it's like a window. It's a limited time only sort of thing. I'll probably announce it again on my stream this Saturday, coming up too. Hopefully I can get this video up before the week is over, because I actually wanted to get it up on the 1st. I actually wanted to get it up it's the 2nd right now, it's Sunday. I actually wanted to get it up yesterday because I was like, everybody else is getting their New Year's stuff up, and it kind of like inspired me to get up and or at least plan to like get this up yesterday. But that is not how that went, because I've just been doing everything else to do with my New Year's resolutions, like for instance building my Discord server for like my comic and for my Book I Peruses streams. So it's been a really busy just past few days. Couple weeks. It's been a really busy couple weeks, and on top of that, I'm also sick. I don't know if you can hear it in my voice. I'm trying to talk calmly, not get too excited because I will have a coughing fit. But I've been sick for the past like couple weeks, and it's been one thing after the other. Like I thought it was one thing, and then it turns out it might be something completely different. So who knows? I'm not gonna call anything now, but who knows? I'm on my way out of it actually, which is really nice. I don't have a mucus anymore, and I'm not like, it used to get bad at 2 a.m. for some reason. randomly, just at night. It's specifically at 2 a.m. it would get really bad, but it's not like that anymore, and I can talk longer. My limit, I think, is 10 minutes consecutively before I need a drink. So we'll see how that goes. We'll see where I get to in this video. But speaking of this video, yeah, I didn't even welcome you guys to Leftovers Vlogs episode 3, because that's what this is. I have to say I'm getting a lot more comfortable with just hitting record and like recording things. I also I have a personal Discord server where I like put all my scripts and stuff too, so it's just a little bit of like background stuff that I felt like I just needed to like put out there. But I'm getting more comfortable with these recordings, and it doesn't feel like I have to like edit them as much. Even though I wasn't really editing them before, but it doesn't feel like there's so much pressure for me to be perfect when it comes to talking about this stuff. So yeah. Also, I'm glad I mentioned last time that a Cottontail Night thing put a whole essay in my comment section, and I also wanted to shout out Ema, who put another essay in my comment section, and I'm glad that you guys are responding so lovely, like lovingly to these episodes. I really like doing them, and I was actually like super duper excited to do this one, kind of similar to last time, but this time was like imperative excitement, because I feel like I need to put this out there so I can move on to the next step. And what I'm going to be talking about today are my worksheets. I believe I mentioned last time that I was supposed to be making these worksheets in the last episode, but now I'm back to tell you how that went and to tell you, oh god, I can't laugh. Oh god. Oh, wait a minute, I need a drink. Okay, I can't laugh. That's one thing I can't do, or I'll go into a coughing fit. Which is funny because like I feel like the last episode was a super giggly episode, or maybe it's the episode before that. No, I think it was the last one. Yeah, it was, because I was talking about my hierarchy and all that. Yeah, so I'm here to talk about my worksheets today, and like I said, I've been working on that, or maybe I did or didn't mention it, I don't know. I've been working on these worksheets for the past, I've been working on them for the past couple of weeks. I started on 12/19, December 19th, and I ended literally December 31st, specifically around 8 p.m. because I definitely had to write that down, because like it was such a big achievement, big accomplishment to finally be done making these things. I wasn't sure if I was gonna make it for New Year, but yeah. So I started 12/19, and the first step that I had to do was like actually plan the sheets. So my like New Year's thing, my like 2022 plan, around 2022 mantra this year is plan your work and work your plan, which I think I explained last time. But that's like everything I've been wanting to do this year, I realized that I've been planning it a lot. Like I've used the word plan just in a crazy amount of times in the past couple months. So yeah, plan your work and work your plan. And I planned these worksheets, and I worked the shit out of them. Honestly, I'm very proud compared to like what happened when I went to the cafe last time, and I didn't really hit, like I planned my work, but I couldn't quite work my plan the way I needed it to. Unlike that, I am very proud, and very proud to say that these sheets turned out wonderful, magnifique, the whole thing. Okay, so first, sorry, I think I'm hitting my limit. On 9 minutes and 35 seconds. Oh god, my carriage is about to turn into a pumpkin. So alright, first to explain these worksheets, because I don't know if I really went into them Well, no, because I think last time I just didn't really, I knew I wanted to make worksheets, but I couldn't really grasp the thesis of why I needed the worksheets and what the worksheets were supposed to be about. So now I'm back and I know. So to explain the worksheets, basically, I made a bunch of like individual worksheets pertaining to different topics that I could fill out. And not like the idea behind the worksheets isn't to like completely work out everything up front, because I do still have my pantser mentality that I want to stick to, and I still value spontaneity quite a bit. So the worksheets weren't to like, because you know how sometimes you'll look at world building sheets or character profiles, and it's like so detailed, like down to the favorite thing to listen to at midnight. Like sometimes it gets so detailed, and I always find those to be overwhelming, and I always find those to be a bit intimidating, and it's just not for me. I used to like print those out or whatever and try to fill those out, but I didn't have the attention span to sit and completely work through those. And I realized it's because I don't want to know everything up front about a character or about a system or about like a place. I don't want to know everything up front. I want to discover it. But there are certain things that I need to know going in to help me in my discovery. So the idea behind these worksheets wasn't to completely work everything out up front, but it's to provide a framework of information so I can use that as a spring point. For instance, okay, so on the screen, at least I hope I put it up on the screen. It depends on how I feel about like editing tonight. But on the screen, you can see the planned worksheet for my political leaders under the world building, government, and world section. Political leaders. And there is like a note underneath that says, this is to be, what does it say? This is to be used to define the general position, not for any specific person who might be currently in the role. So that's the kind of like general vibe that I'm going for, where it's like, okay, I need to know what this political leader is supposed to be doing. So that way, when I do like my character sheets later on, and I'm like, oh, okay, this person is, their affiliation, they are this political leader, and then I can like look at what they're supposed to be doing from that other worksheet, and then put down like, oh, but they're actually not. Or like the specific example that I used when I wrote the disclaimer for these sheets, because I needed to, similar to last time where I had to put on there like, don't try to plan out while you're like brainstorming. Similar to that note, I had to put a whole disclaimer on these world building worksheets, and that the example I used for that is that I need to know, like, for instance, what is the general social status of a government or town? Like, how do people generally feel about that? So then I can recognize when a change in people's opinions happens in the story, and then this like pantser spontaneity comes in with creating the details for how that presents conflict in the story. I'm not going to make a worksheet with like, this is like what's going on, like what's the general thing, the general opinion of the town. Also, there's conflict, and this is the conflict. Like, I'm not going to put all that on there. I just need to know where the town sits, and then I can like unearth that, and I can get into that in the story, and while I'm like writing the story and pantsing my way through the details of the story. So that's the like give and take that I was trying to, and I think, I mean, I haven't actually sat down and completed like any of these worksheets yet for a specific thing, but I personally, just looking at what I've gotten done so far, I feel like I did a really good job at that give and take between like how much can I plan without taking the fun out of pantsing. And I forgot to mention, but the first thing I did before, obviously I got to like set up the worksheets, is that I looked at the hierarchy that I put up last time, and maybe I'll put it up again, but I looked at the hierarchy that I created last time, and for each section, or at least like each part of the like first half of the pyramid, So it's like world building, government and world, Pokemon culture, human culture, main characters, secondary characters, character dynamics, overarching story arcs, and theme planning. So I looked at each of those like parts of the hierarchy, and I sat down and I made a list of like, okay, what do I need to know about each of these things? So what do I need to know about the government and the world? So I have a like list of for things for the government and the world. I have like government as a whole, parties and groups with vested interests, and each of these are separate worksheets. Branches of the government, political leaders, like the general position, what do they do? What is this one? Oh, government departments, towns, cities, other territories, historical and world events, and that is it for like the government and world section. Those are the things. And each one of these worksheets, like for instance, if there's 15 government departments, then I'll fill 15 worksheets out. But it's like just to keep inventory essentially of what's going on, and to, you know, put out a general idea of what each thing is. But coming up with the categories and coming up with like what I needed to know was the most important part for this first part, which is like planning the sheets. And then for Pokemon, because it's the second like part of the hierarchy, Pokemon and human culture are on the same level there, underneath the government and the world, just overall world building. So for Pokemon, I have species cards, I have magic typing, area etiquette, which area etiquette is like how do people act in caves, or how do Pokemon act in caves, and how do Pokemon act on like, you know, the jungle routes and stuff like that, Safari Zone, like versus, you know, that's the area etiquette, and like predator and prey like mentality at those specific areas. And again, I'm not going into details, these are just generally speaking sort of things. And then fighting and battling systems and exhibition systems. Exhibition systems being stuff like contests and stuff like that. And I have just a sheet for those. And then for humans, I have important holidays and events, religion and fellowships, magic typing for aberrants specifically, because the way that magic works with Pokemon versus aberrants or humans is different, and leftovers, and classes and other identifications, and then I have miscellaneous, which is berries and other items, and that doesn't fall into anybody's category. It doesn't fall into humans or Pokemon, because it's just like, they're just general, like miscellaneous stuff. So I went through and I was like, all right, now that I know what I need to have, like what worksheets I need to have for like government and world, Pokemon culture, and human culture, what do I need to ask on each worksheet to get just enough, like what sort of prompts, what specific types of prompts do I need that would give me just enough information without needing to go too in depth. So like for instance, on government as a whole, should I do government as a whole? Actually, you know what? I'm gonna do parties. Okay, so sorry. I'm also looking at these. I'm looking at the worksheets right now, so I know what I put on here, obviously. But parties and groups of vested interest, I think, is a better one to use as an example of this, because you can get really detailed into stuff like this. So this is like an example of me like paring everything down and keeping it simple. So for parties and groups of vested interests, the prompts, or the answer fields, or the questions that I put on there were organization title, so like what's the group's official title, and then for each one of these I put like just a small explanation of what I needed for each of these, just to keep myself on track. But I put organization title, classification, so how is the party or group classified, size, how large is each party or group, age, how old is each party or group, function / purpose, why was the party established and what purpose does it serve as part of the government, Leadership, is there a discernible leader board? What are they called and what do they generally do? Membership, what are members called if anything? How easy is it to join this party group and how do they identify themselves? Status, how does the public feel about the party group as a whole? Hierarchy, where does the party/group rank in regards to government influence? And silver lining, what is the party/group's most positive attribute and fatal flaw? Conversely, what aspect does this party group fail at the most? So each of those has the potential to be, relatively heavy answers. But then what I did was I went in for when I was putting down each one and I said, okay, like, how long does this answer need to be? Because that's going to be important for when I actually move on to InDesign and translate the sheet plans or the worksheet plans into actual worksheets. So I needed to know my goal was to keep every sheet as one sheet, unless it was like the story stuff later on. Like if I needed to do more than one sheet, then, but that I didn't want that to be, I wanted that to be an exception, not a rule. So my goal is to keep everything on one worksheet per like actual category/topic. So I would go in and like for instance for classification, I'd have in parentheses circle, i.e. political, business, etc., etc. And that means when I put this on, when I put this in InDesign and when I make this an actual worksheet, there's not gonna be lines to write down like what the group, how the group is classified. There's gonna be options and you circle an option, and that's to keep me from like, oh well, maybe I can do like maybe there's another classification I could put in there, or well technically it's not this, like keep it very, very simple so that I don't like so that I don't go into the whole thing. I don't go into all of the answers and everything. Alright, so oh, sorry, I just realized that actually on the party/group invested interest thing, I didn't make that a circle, but that's on the actual worksheets, but that's fine. We'll go into it later on, when I get my InDesign stuff. Actually, I think the next part is the hardest. I need to come up with it. Alright, actually, I think, I can move on to the next part, which was actually building the sheets. So, okay, I went into InDesign and I took all of these sheets, which were color-coded in the, if you didn't see, I probably put like a scroll of the sheets or of the Google document so you can actually see the different sheets. But they're all color-coded. So like Pokemon is green, the government and general world building stuff is gold, human stuff is like a mahogany, magenta. Magenta is the word I'm thinking of. Miscellaneous was like a red, and then like story stuff is blue, which actually I forgot to go into the story structure stuff, but basically I have this split into world building worksheets and then narrative worksheets. And the narrative worksheets are 3-act structure, primary characters, secondary characters, and then group dynamics, group relationships / dynamics. And actually, one thing I'm really proud of, and one thing I'm excited to look into or work out for the primary characters specifically is that I put a field down there called founding events, and that's basically a 1 to 5 bullet points listing out everything that happened in this character's life to make them who they are today. And that, like, very general, like someone died, you know what I mean? Like, just not even going into how they felt about it, or if I do go into how they felt about it, somebody died and they were sad, like, you know what I mean? Just super general stuff, like spring points. All of this stuff is spring points for where to go next. Speaking of next, okay, let's go to the actual like building the sheets. This is a really, really short section, I think, because it's pretty self-explanatory. I took the plans and everything that I had from Google Documents, and I didn't say it like that, Google Documents, and I put it in InDesign. Obviously, I had to design the actual sheets and stuff. I didn't just copy it over into InDesign, but my original plan was to make them like fillable PDFs. So making them in InDesign and then taking them over to Adobe Acrobat and then like having them be fields. So if you've ever had like a release form or like a doctor's appointment form or something that they sent you online and you can like fill it out in a PDF, that's what I essentially wanted to do. But I decided to format them like physical worksheets, so that way I can print them out and work on them, because I wanted to minimize the amount of time that I spend in front of my computer. I don't want to be confined to my computer during this whole process. Plus I can always like make them fillable later if I want, and then just print them out. I'm excited I need to actually go get some ink probably, and also paper. And maybe I'll put up the picture of just the ones that I printed out while I was working on the whole process, because I had to print them out to make sure that the line spacing was good, so I can like actually write, and like, is this like a field that I can actually put like a good amount in? Can I actually do the 1 to 2 sentences that this field is built for? Stuff like that. I need to get better paper, or like actual printing paper, instead of like, I think I have them printed on like cardstock or photo paper or something right now. But I'm excited to put them in a binder. I have a leftovers binder that I made last year. Oh god, oh no, it was 2020 I made this binder. Oh man. I made it 2020, and these years are messing me up. It feels like they've been running together. But I made it in 2020, and I didn't really use it. The only thing I used it for was to print out comments and stuff that meant a lot to me, and to put them in there just to like, when I was dealing with like a lot of anxiety around leftovers, just to help me, just to motivate me, basically. So I still have those comments in there, and I'm still going to keep that section in there. But I'm excited to use the binder as a story binder like I originally intended, and to just fill it to the brim with worksheets, honestly. Like, I'm so excited. And like I mentioned before, obviously I got like 24 different worksheets here, but I'm going to have to print, however many, for however many things I have. Like, all the characters are getting a worksheet, and all the departments of the government are getting a worksheet, the different, the Pokemon are getting worksheets. Like, the species card is just basically like a rundown of how, like, just the Pokemon, like the evolutionary lines, and each of them need a sheet. Oh god, I'm gonna need so much ink, but I'm so excited. I have a whole bunch. And I can put them in my binder, and it's gonna look so professional. But yeah, so that is basically what was going on for the past couple of weeks with me trying to make these worksheets, and I'm very excited about them. I feel like this episode in particular has a lot of is it like action potential, I think, because it's like I haven't really filled any of them out yet. It's just me like rearing up, getting ready to go. I don't know if it's action potential. Something just fell. I don't know what that was, but we're gonna investigate it later. I don't know if it was action potential or whatever, but I feel like it has a lot of energy, like a slingshot. Like, I'm about to go after this, because I like I said, wanted to work on this episode yesterday, but didn't quite get the chance to, because I was working on a bunch of other stuff. And now that I have this documented, now that I have this ready, or not ready, but now that I have it documented, basically, now that I have it documented, I feel like I can move on to the next step. So yeah, that is episode 3 of Leftovers Vlogs. I feel like it was a little more low-key energy than I expected to have for this one, especially with it being the New Year's one. Actually, let me know in the comments if you guys have any like big New Year's plans, or if you're, like what are you up to this in 2022? Are you just kind of living for the moment, or do you actually have a plan for things to do? And like, it doesn't matter if it's like cliche or whatever. Like, some people I know are afraid to admit, I want to lose weight. Like, me too. Like, everybody has their goals, and it's not cliche if you like want to lose weight and other people want to lose weight, or you want to like for instance, I'm trying to save up for a house. Like, how many other people are saving up for a house? Like, don't I don't know I'm going on this rant, but like, don't be afraid to have the goals that you have. Even if you don't reach them at the end of the year. Like, it's if one thing, if last year taught me anything, it's how to go with the flow, and how to like adjust for things. How to, if something doesn't go the way that I want it to go, or something doesn't go the way that I was planning for it to go, you pick back up, and you pick that plate back up, and you start spinning it in a different way. You know what I mean? Yeah, hopefully that made sense. But yeah, let me know in the comments what you guys got going on this year. I had a whole spiel about like, last year this, and this, that, and the other, but I'm not gonna lie, I completely forgot it. And I also just wanted to put this episode up, so maybe I'll do another episode where it's like New Year's resolutions specifically, but I just wanted to get this episode about worksheets up because I'm so excited about them, and I can't wait to finally sit down and like work on them. I actually, and maybe this will be next time's episode, I actually need to plan like planning. I actually need to plan like where I want my milestones to be, because right now I'm just like, I want to be done writing 6 months into this year, like by June or July or whatever. Like, I want to be done actually working out the story by then, so I can work on pages. But I need to like actually sit down and figure out what's feasible. So yeah, that is gonna be it for this episode. Thank you guys as always for watching. Happy New Year's, and this is going to be Picard signing out.